Welcome back to another episode of Lucha HSP. Now I'm getting used to it. Great. That's gonna be better now. From like when amigos. We're back for another episode of what we love the most is wrestling. All wrestling fans. We had a not a crazy week, but a lot to talk about. I think we got a lot of things to talk about wrestling this week. So we're gonna go into it. Like always, you can find us in all the social medias. We're on Instagram, Facebook, you name it. We're in YouTube. We constantly putting stuff in YouTube now. You got snippets of what we're talking in podcasts, and also putting some shots of what Renzo puts up on Instagram, which they're getting really good reception by the fans. A lot of people commenting on it, a lot of people liking it. Renzo always bringing it in with us promos that we got for each episode. And talking about Renzo, of course, I'm always by myself. And we're good friends. And Simbrazo Renzo and the voice of violence, Marce, how are you guys doing?
Good, man. It's good to be back after my sabbatical last week.
Let's see.
I did keep up with all the wrestling stuff, and looking forward to having a chat about what's going on.
A lot to get about.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you back, Mars. Took a sabbatical, but no, always great to have you back, and the full team in the house and ready to talk about what happened in the past week.
That's it. And we're all wearing blue, which is the crazy. We always SmackDown colors, bro. What the hell? This is hilarious.
I'm ripping the old school.
Old school. Yeah, fun enough. So let's jump into there's a few things we gotta talk about, but I think one of the things we gotta talk about is how crazy is the push they're doing to him and Page, man. I don't know. I'm not happy with it. I love him and Page. It's all right. He had his time. I don't understand the push they're doing with Babyface right now at the moment. I know Marcel will have a little bit to say, but Renzo, what are your thoughts with that, man?
Look, I don't know if it's the repercussions of what happened with CM Punk and was it CM Punk factor that was keeping him kind of down, but the fans seem to love the guy, man, and everything that he does kind of turns to gold at this stage. So they're pushing him to the limit, right? And yeah, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks in AEW, but I think it's good. Look, the guy can wrestle. He proved it in All In the UK when he was up against all of the New Japan guys. He did really well. I was impressed. So no, good on him. He's taking his opportunity and running with it.
Yeah, I agree. Like Renzo said, good on him. I think he deserves it. Again, I don't know much about AEW and most of the roster there, but from what I've seen, from what little I've seen of Hangman, I like, and good on him. Yeah, you get these chances, and then it's up to you what you do with them, and he seems to be doing pretty good so far. Yeah.
I don't know. Absolutely. I don't like it. I'm against it.
Why not?
I'm against it. It's just that I don't get it. I don't get the push for him. I don't think is needed. I think we got a good push having with Adam Cole, MJF, Darby Allin, whatever is happening with there's so many other ones that what's happening, but not anymore. But what was happening with what's called a Jungle Boy? It wasn't Jungle Boy anymore.
Jack Perry.
It's a few things. It's like I don't get the push. It's just stupid push. So what do you want?
What do you do?
Tonight. My wife comes.
We have an intruder.
Yeah.
There's a run-in. Get a referee.
There's a run-in.
Where's no security here, man? Fucking.
Where's security?
Where's security, man? You trying to record some security is not here. Anyways, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the push. I think they could be doing so much more with other wrestlers and other stories than that. It's the same to jump on another one. Same with Jon Moxley. I don't get the point of Jon Moxley having the title. I don't agree with it. It's unnecessary. He's been wrestling a few independent boys, which also I don't get. What's the point of bringing them in to get him smashed by Jon Moxley? And why does he need to have the Intercontinental title? Or international title, sorry.
That's to lift him. Like they how it works. They bring in the jobbers or the developmental talent or the indie book guys to do the job. He gets more wins on the board and it lifts him. He's one of the top guys in AEW. So he needs to have that dominance, and part of having that dominance is holding a strap for a certain amount of time. And And like Orange Cassidy held it for a long time, and he was a great international champion. I'm a big fan of what he does. But it was time for a change, and they're giving Mox a go. And I think having the BCC having a champion amongst their ranks also lifts them as well.
They already got a champion.
So, who?
Castagnoli.
Oh yeah, but all right. If you want to count, I mean, we'll count Ring of Honor.
But you have
all
to.
Right.
It's impossible not to
All
count it.
Count
Like
Ring of Honor.
but you have to, like, that's the thing. If you, like, that's why I've said it so many times. It's like, what are you making him a champion of another? Like Ring of Honor is well known. It's not like a Ring of Honor is that would say like Buddy Murphy is champion of the VCW in Melbourne.
MCW.
Sorry, my bad. He's a champion here. He doesn't show the title in TV, which is fine. We're talking about a minor league, but we're talking about Ring of Honor, man. Like, come on. Like, Ring of Honor has been around for a long time. It's the same what was happening when the AAA championship and it wasn't showing. That's what I don't get. And the other thing is, I get the John Moxley needs to have a title. For example, will have a title, but and I think we were having this discussion the other day with Renzo. It's like the international championship. If he's not a US guy that's gonna have it, he has to go to someone else outside the USA. Like, I don't get it why it stays in the USA, a title that's meant to be fight internationally. You know what I mean? Which was pretty stupid the way they got to it and how they gave it to John Moxley, which is really obvious. But I don't get the point to do it that way. For me, just make it any other title, you know? Make it another US title. I don't know.
Well, I think there's too many belts in AEW anyway.
Yeah.
Two things. The first thing, I think there's way too many belts. And secondly, I'm not a fan of having other companies' belts on a show. Like, I don't see why. I mean, I know why Ring of Honor's got titles in AEW. I mean, Tony, as far as I'm aware, Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor too.
Yeah.
But keep Ring of Honor separate. I'm not saying don't let the talents come in and, you know, work for AEW and vice versa. But AEW is AEW. You fight for straps that are AEW straps. You don't bring in straps from other organizations. WWE doesn't do that. You don't see someone from, you know,
WWE doesn't go anyway. WWE doesn't go anywhere, bro.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of like bringing other companies' belts into show at your own company. And that was the big thing. That was the big thing. If I know I always go back to WWE, but that's what I know.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing about the Montreal Screwjob, because Vince McMahon didn't want Bret Hart taking the WWE belt to WCW, because he'd already signed with WCW, and that was the cause of the Montreal Screwjob. So I'm not a fan of, like, anyway, but who gives a shit what I think? I'm just saying, like.
No, it's fair
No,
enough.
it's a good point. It's a good point. You're right, man. I agree with you, Mars. I don't necessarily think that the showing the belts from other companies really lifts those companies, you know, in a great deal. I know Kenny Omega did it a while ago when he was AAA champion. He was Impact champion as well. He was AEW champion.
No,
I think
he was an Impact champion. No, it was New Japan champion.
He was an Impact.
He was an Impact. Oh yeah,
No, he was Impact as well.
Yeah, he has the full.
Yeah, he had four.
Yeah.
He had four belts.
Yeah, four major titles. Yeah.
The four major titles, yeah, besides the WWE ones, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that really didn't do a lot for those companies per se. Like, if you're a champion in those companies, well done. You can say it in the match, but to bring out the belts, yeah, I agree with Mars, man.
I've got no problem with like promoting the other organizations, whether they be indies or whether they be New Japan. I don't count. Obviously, New Japan's on an indie. They're huge. Or AAA, like, you know, or even CMLL, if you want to bring them into mention them, that's fine. But don't bring the strap out. I don't know.
I think it loses its value, right? We've talked about this before. It kind of loses its value. Yeah. So it doesn't bring that importance as well, because I don't know. There's just a weird kind of way of showing that around. But yeah, I don't necessarily think it adds value. Like Hijo del Vikingo, when he comes and he shows his AAA championship, I don't necessarily think it's a big thing. It's great that he's there, you know, and they could promote it in that way. But yeah, I don't know, that they're going about it the wrong way, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you could be all right. My end, I don't have a problem with that. It's great, if you're a champion of something, you want to show you're the champion, and show the title around. That's great. Now that to bring in champions from other parts, different ways, that's a different conversation. But if you're a champion, why you can't show your titles? What's the point of being a champion if you can't show your titles at the same time? Fair enough, it's another company, but at the same time, fuck. Might as well just don't let them win. I think it would be better if you don't let them win all the titles outside AEW, for example, or any other company. Just you can't win if you leave to work somewhere else. Just leave the title at home. Like Ray Phoenix did it. Ray Phoenix did it when he moved to AEW. He actually made an announcement and he actually relinquished both titles they had. He had the AAA champion, Mega Championship, and he had the what's the other one? The Junior Championship, something like that. I can't remember which one.
I think it was a Junior Champion. Yeah,
It was a Junior Champion, and he actually relinquished the titles. He was like, I know I'm going to be moving. I'm going to be flying around. I'm going to leave the titles here because they need to stay home. They need to stay where they belong. And that's it,
That's exactly right. Because the thing is, like, obviously, we all know how wrestling works, how sports entertainment works. So if the company chooses you to be the guy, to be the man, to carry the heavyweight championship or the universal championship or whatever you want to call it, the main belt, then you're the face of that company. You've been chosen to carry that company. You're it. You're now the hunted. So you shouldn't be going off to other organizations and wrestling and carrying that belt where you're not going to put that belt on the line.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think that's where the problem comes. I think that they shouldn't let other, like Ring of Honor. Yeah, it's a kind of special exception because of the ownership. But even then, I think Ring of Honor titles should stay with Ring of Honor, like with Ring of Honor guys, and don't move around to the companies and just each title to their own.
Even Ring of Honor's changed, because if you look back to what Ring of Honor was, how it started, Ring of Honor started, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Ring of Honor because it's just purely wrestling. There's nothing else. There was no like chair shots. There was no tables. There was no extreme. So it was pure wrestling. That's why it's Ring of Honor. But that's all gone out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that the way the title, I think that's when we all agree. I think they shouldn't allow champions to go to the companies if they're current champions, because what's the point? Just stay in the where you are and just defend the title there and make it bigger there. You want to jump boats, or you want to be traveling around, just don't be the champion, just be the guy that jumps around. For example, Switch Play, Jay White, he's not a champion, he's just jumping around. Same happened with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is a champion, and Will Ospreay is not going to leave in New Japan. He has done shots in spots in AEW, but he's in New Japan. He's a New Japan champion. He wants to stay over there because that's what he's going to be a champion from. So, fair enough. I get that. And keep going with the titles. I don't know why I'm stuck with this, but keep going with the titles. Other thing that banging again on AEW. I don't know why I'm so angry against AEW. The World Title Elimination Tournament. What the fuck? Why you need a World Title Eliminated tournament now, when you got a great story happening with Adam Cole, whatever is happening around Adam Cole and MJF, and now MJF and Samoa Joe. It's really confusing having a World Eliminated title tournament when the story is going between Samoa Joe and MJF. Like, that whoever is going to get to the point to win the tournament, which will be in 2 weeks' time, probably, he's not going to go anywhere. He's going to lose the title. He's going to lose. It's simple as that. It's just really stupid.
I don't know, man. I think it's actually pretty cool because what it's kind of leading up to is Roderick Strong. And Roderick Strong, of course, he's got that jilted ex-girlfriend vibe happening with Adam Cole. And we know that there's a feud between MJF and Samoa Joe, right? So I think that's going to come to a head. I think potentially this is going to be where everything just goes out in the open, because Roderick Strong fights Samoa Joe this week. I think it's on Dynamite, if I'm not mistaken, and to see who faces MJF. So I think this is going to be great, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of this. It's a short little kind of side story to the big overall MJF Adam Cole situation with Roderick Strong, of course, in the middle. But now, man, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, but what do you think about the elimination tournament? That's what I'm getting at. I don't care about.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm getting at. It's not about the story. What's happening is a great story, and we getting Samoa Joe in between with MJF, bringing it back to what happened because that's where they started in WWE. That's where they started. That's why they talk about it, because that's when their story started. Now continues in AEW. It just the thing of having an eliminated tournament, that's what I don't get. Why you need to have that in between?
I think that they're just building to the story for Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe, and something's going to happen in there, right? So I know for sure MJF will get involved. Adam Cole will potentially get involved. So I think they needed to build why and why Samoa Joe and Roderick Strong need to face each other and why they're going to get there. So I think there's a means to an end. We'll see what happens this week, but no, I'm loving it, man. It's great. I've seen some good matches this week on AEW with the eliminated tournament. So yeah, no, I think it's a good thing.
I disagree. Unfortunately, I disagree with you, bro. I don't know. I can't because
I think they just can't. They can't pull a contender out of their ass, right? Like who's been a contender for MJF?
But
I know they don't need to.
They don't need to.
I think that's what they're building.
You already can see who's the contender for it, and it's stupid.
Yeah, but you got to drag it on. You can't just do it a week. You got to over 1 or 2 weeks. You've got to drag the story on.
Yeah, like what's the point of having all these other wrestlers going to a tournament where they're all gonna lose? Like sure what's gonna happen. There's no surprise. There's not gonna be Samoa Joe got eliminated. He's not. Like it's the same stupid thing that they did with Orange Cassidy as the champion, had to verse Pentagon Jr. to go into All Out to see who faces Jon Moxley for the title. Like when it should be Jon Moxley against Pentagon to he who faces the champion are All Out. No, the champion has to get eliminated to go against Jon Moxley. You see what I mean? It just makes no sense. And that's what I'm getting at. Like AEW is coming up with this old stupid stuff. They're just getting in between the good stories that are happening at the moment. The good stories happening, and you got these little things in between. It's unnecessary, at least for me.
I think that you can put that down to lack of experience. You can put that down to not having people that, and it's not just Tony Khan, but I mean, the problem is this: that they do have good people there. They've got Paul White, what's his name? He was in WWE.
Big Show.
Giant.
The Big Show.
Yeah. And they've got Mark Henry. Mark Henry is very knowledgeable. So is Paul White. They're just not using them the right way, I think.
Taz as well.
Taz.
Jeez.
100%. I think, and I don't know who their creative is. I don't know if Tony Khan's in charge of creative, or I don't know who their bookers are, or I don't know who their writers are. But it seems like they've got too many things going on at once, and they need to focus on the strong things. And like the old saying is, like, don't make something strong weak to use it to make something weak strong. So focus on the good, and maybe put the bad to the side a bit.
Keep it simple.
I think what's going on,
writing and booking.
Yeah, I think that what's going on is a repercussion of what's happened with CM Punk, right? I think they're scrambling at the moment to kind of justify what happened with CM Punk. For this week that's passed, with Rampage, Dynamite, and Collision, you can see that what was happening with CM Punk, where the split was going on. Now the split's gone. It's like it's blown out of the water. Everyone's fighting. Collision guys are in Dynamite and vice versa, and things like that. So I think it's almost like a free for all now. But I think they're at a stage where they're kind of scrambling and trying to figure out, hey, what's going to happen with these shows? What are we doing? Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be the split that they've always talked about? We don't know. And I think it's just a repercussion of what's happened with CM Punk.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think probably go down to that, but I think it was more go down to what Marcel was saying. I think they're not utilizing the good writers, the good creatives that they got there. I think you just give Taz something to do. He will create something great. He has a great Paul White, like I said, Mike Henry. You got a lot of wrestlers that got a good creative create ideas. and credit she's there to give to AEW. I think just gotta make it work better. Simple as that. To make something that makes sense and not just jumping from one thing to another or getting in the way of something that's already good. You know what I mean? Getting a good old Vince McMahon in between, getting in the way to go something good just to fuck it up. So
they got Chris Jericho, like one of the most brilliant wrestling minds.
Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is the one that created the one with him and of course, him and Will Ospreay. I don't know if you guys listen. I was listening to.
I started listening to the pod, but I didn't.
How good is it? He created the whole thing. The one thing I disagree a little bit was the way that he saw the event against how we saw the event. He's more in power.
I haven't got to that part yet.
No. He talks the whole time. He goes in between one and another and stuff like that. But yeah. Now the good thing came out of AEW, at least last week, was the return of Jade Cargill, man. Fuck, what a return. Jade Cargill returned, and she's coming for the big title now, which it makes me happy. Now we're going to an actual heavyweight champion going for the big title because she lost the TBS title, but I think now she's going to go for the big one, and I think she's good for her, man.
No, it's going to be good. It's good that Jade Cargill had a bit of a break. She kind of needed it. She looks great as well, man. She looks, I think, more jacked than ever.
Yeah.
So no, I'm happy to have her back. It's going to be great to see her and see what happens when she fights Saraya, right? Because she's going for the main title. She doesn't want the TBS. She wants the whole thing. So it's going to be great, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Marcia, any thoughts?
No, I agree with what you both say. I mean, I don't really know too much about it, but she's got a magnificent physique and she's really talented in the ring. So, I mean, I don't know what her mic skills are like, but mate, good on her. Go for it.
She's good, man. She is she's a what's called? She's a rookie, literally. She's a rookie, but they hold the TBS title for like 51 or 52 days, was it? In total?
Yeah, see what I mean? Yeah. TBS title. Like, shut the fuck up.
But that was TBS. Because of TBS.
That's on TBS because it's on Turner. I get it. Yeah, there's a TNT title. I get it.
It's not because they asked for it.
There's not a Fox Sports title on WWE. There's not a fucking USA title.
No, because they got the pool on the existing titles. You know what I mean? They have already made the pools with existing titles.
Too many fucking belts.
Yeah, that's true. Too many belts in the women's. At least in the women's should be only one belt, and in the men's, I think it should be just the intercontinental, like international one, and the main title, and that's it. Keep it as those two. That's fair enough. You don't need more than that. And tag team title, I think that's great. The trios title is good. The only thing missing there, I would take all the titles and put a hardcore title there. I think we need a hardcore title for what the AEW gives. I think he's missing a hardcore title.
I'd bring back the cruiserweight title, like they had in WCW.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. They need a cruiserweight, man. They need a cruiserweight title. Absolutely.
Anyway, we digress. Let's get back on track, boys.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, to get rid of the other ones, but things don't work that way these days. TV deals and shit like that would push too much. But jump into the other side. Jump into WWE. We got great things happening in WWE. Now my main question is, where the fuck is Roman Reigns?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. If I can just talk a bit about what's happening with the Bloodline story at the moment. Look, let me just premise this by saying one of the golden rules is believe in the product. I believe in the product, but I'm a little confused at the moment. Because why does Jimmy want back in to the Bloodline?
Yeah.
It was Jimmy. It was Jimmy that started all the discontent. It was Jimmy that was pointing out how bad Roman Reigns was. It was Jimmy that was pointing out the manipulator that Roman Reigns was and is. It was Jimmy that talked Jay after weeks and weeks of telling him the same thing over and over, talked Jay into rebelling and going against the Bloodline and sticking together with him to fight the Bloodline, to fight Solo and Roman and obviously Heyman. And now, all of a sudden, Jimmy says he took Jay's title opportunity away when Jay had the pin on Roman. He got to like a 2.5 count, and as we all know, Jimmy pulled him out. And then he said Jimmy pulled him off. That would have been X-rated.
The brothers.
It's completely inappropriate for wrestling or anything else. And now I've lost my train of thought. He said he cost Jimmy the title because he didn't want Jimmy to turn into what Roman Reigns is, and that's what would have happened if he became the tribal chief. Yet now he wants to jump back into bed with Roman Reigns and Solo, and he wants to be part of the bloodline again, and he's like, it just does not make sense. But again, I believe in the product. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know where Roman Reigns is. All we get is Paul Heyman saying, "Call Roman Reigns" at the end of every show.
Yeah, but I think the big question is Roman Reigns should have come out the next SmackDown after Jey Uso got announced in the pay-per-view. That's it. It's straight away. SmackDown, at least fucking a video. Even if a video, he doesn't fucking need to be there. Just make a video or something on him talking to Paul Heyman, talking to Solo Sikoa, saying, why is he back? What does he want? Find out. I'll be back. Oh, you say I'll be back in a few weeks, but then you better give me some answers or someone's going to have to pay. And that's it. A 30-second video, it would make everything so much sense. Get Jimmy whatever he wants, but it would make so much sense. But the fact that he's not there, he hasn't said a word. It kind of messed it up a little bit, the Bloodline story.
But I think what it has done is kept Cody Rhodes joined to that story.
Yeah, that's
because it's Cody Rhodes that brought Jay into Raw, and now obviously Jay's got to have his own stories within Raw itself, as we saw. Yeah. I don't know if you guys watched Raw today.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch it?
I saw parts of it, but I know what's the big.
Well, so there's stuff developing with that, and stuff, more stuff that I want to talk about. What's happening on Raw, which is I'm really liking. But you're absolutely right, Rod. I think Roman should have at least had a video, saying, sort this shit out. I'll be back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I want it sorted by then. If not, there's going to be hell to pay, and
exactly,
I'm going to come down with an iron fist.
Because we haven't. Also, Cody Rhodes, he's just perfect to we said it last week. We were thinking, how the fuck are you gonna bring back Cody Rhodes to Roman Reigns? There we go, easy. Cody Rhodes brought back Jey Uso, good way, and so why Roman Reigns didn't ask the question? Why did Roman Reigns come up and say, "Hey, why did Cody Rhodes get involved? What pull does he have, more than me? Why he's bigger than me to bring him back?" And actually take him to Raw, because even we all remember what Cody Rhodes said. Cody Rhodes said, "Oh, I pulled some strings." It's so he has a pull, and they're bigger than the Roman Reigns. The head of the table, which is for Roman Reigns should be like, "Hey, no one has a better pull than me. I'm the one pulling strings here." So I think they just they dropped the ball a little bit there, and now we're not gonna have Roman Reigns back until who knows when is Roman Reigns back? Does anyone say?
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
I don't know, man. It's just, what are your thoughts, Renzo? You be quiet, man. I know we jumped from AEW to WWE, but you got to talk too.
No, I think it's hurting WWE, man, not having Roman around, because it's leaving us questioning what the hell's going on, right? It's just kind of crazy that the champion isn't around. You're right. They have to put something like a video or package or something, but it's definitely hurting the storyline. We're at a loss. I know Mars is at a loss, and when Mars is at a loss and he's confused, man, something's wrong, right? So, yeah, they've got to do something, right? I think they're not necessarily capitalizing on the heat that this storyline has. It's hot, man. It's awesome, but now it's kind of just what the hell's happening?
Because he's not even mentioned SmackDown, isn't it? They haven't even mentioned. Paul Heyman hasn't even mentioned, isn't it?
No, but now that you've said it, now you've just said what you've just said, kind of makes me rethink what I've just said.
Oh,
because we're still talking about it. The story's still red hot, and we don't know what's going to happen.
100%.
There's nothing worse. We were just talking about the predictability of AEW. We don't know what the fuck's going to happen with the Bloodline story. So you know what? You've just talked me around to saying, well, it fucking does make sense.
Holy shit.
as I said, I premised my comment with I believe in this product. So what I just had like a fucking light bulb moment.
Fuck, I just got it right. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Fuck you, Renzo.
like we don't know what's going to happen. Isn't that great? Isn't that great that we can't guess the storyline?
I want to be pissed off at Roman Reigns. I can't be pissed off at Roman Reigns now. Thank you, Renzo. Far out.
Yeah, far
I was
out,
coming
man.
down.
Jesus.
I had it in bold, underlined in red. What the fuck is Roman Reigns? I had it there in La Pauta, man. And now it's just, I had to take it out of bold, red, and underline. Damn it.
It's funny.
Yeah, you're right. And that's it.
So funny.
That's it. Just like that. Perfect. The bloodline story is alive.
But,
oh my God.
But like, there are other things that I'm really, really excited about that are happening in Raw. And, can we talk about that stuff?
Go.
Sure.
Like, first of all, something that I think we all predicted a while back when the show was in Spanish, so that our English listeners wouldn't have known. It's quite clear by what happened last week and what happened today. Drew McIntyre is doing a heel turn, which I'm really, really excited about. Really excited about. He's back. He's brought the sword back, which I fucking love. Margaret, I think he calls it Margaret, named after his mother.
Yeah.
And he's just old Drew. He's just you look at me the wrong way, I'm gonna kick your ass. And he kicks their ass. And it's gonna be a great heel turn. And I don't like what they're doing with him and Riddle. Like, fuck that off. But that's a different. That's the conversation for another day after Riddle buys some shoes and deals with some shit that happened at the airport. But anyway, we won't get into that. But I'm really happy about Drew McIntyre's heel turn, number one. And I'll give you a chance, obviously, give you guys a chance to talk about what I say after. But the second thing that I'm really, really excited about is what they're doing with Rhea Ripley. I don't know if you guys saw today.
Yeah.
I think the angle with Raquel Rodriguez is phenomenal.
It's getting
because
bigger.
Raquel Rodriguez is powerful, tall, strong, and she matches, if not sometimes outperforms Rhea, which is like rare. And then today for Nia Jax to come into the equation, for those three to have a feud now, man, that's going to be red hot. Yeah. And Rhea's finally going to get the run she deserves.
That's it.
100%.
100%. Love it. Look, to your first point about Drew, man, Drew as a heel, as a face, he's fucking great. We're starting to get a lot of heels in WWE, which is crazy, because you don't know who's going to go against who and who's going to turn his back on who, which is great. But on your point on Rhea Ripley, I think we mentioned last week or before was Payback, that angle with Raquel Rodriguez is not dead. It wasn't the end of it. It was gonna continue, and that's exactly what's happening. It's continuing, and it's getting bigger, and it's getting like bigger and uglier. Like what Rhea Ripley got today, he's starting to get into third gear now. Really starting to shift third gear, and that's thanks to Raquel Rodriguez. And like you say, with Nia Jax coming back, which is great to have Nia Jax back. Hopefully she doesn't injure someone else, but hopefully she doesn't do that. But now you got three big bodies on the stage, man, and having a feud between them, man, that's the big matches you want to see. Now you're investing finally in the women's title, and to your point, and then in another one that we're going to be talking then. But Renzo, what do you think?
Oh man, the storylines that are coming out are great, man. Look, I personally I don't like Nia Jax because she's injured so many wrestlers in the past.
Yeah. She's
kind of reckless. Hopefully she's learned a thing or two, but I think Rhea Ripley needed a good storyline, man. She needed a good storyline. She's got it with Raquel Rodriguez, and now with Nia Jax. Hopefully this gives her some meat, man. We can see what Rhea Ripley is really made of, because we haven't really seen her like to a full extent throughout this championship run, right?
Now she just runs over the top of everybody. Like she had a bit of a run against Liv, which I really liked, but Liv's fantastic. I'm a massive fan of Liv, but that kind of like just fizzled out, and she needs women of her size to feud with, to give it credibility and like that reality. I'm pretty sure Nia Jax was at WrestleCon, and I remember seeing her, and like she's big, man. Like
She's
she's tall
big.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she got bigger. She wasn't as big in body before. She got
Mm.
bigger. But now she downsized again, which I think is good because before it's too much. For her, he wasn't given any favors on the ring. But now it's gonna be a bit different, which is a great thing. And talking about women's, how about Asuka and Io Sky, bro? Finally, we're gonna get it. Finally, we said it. I don't know how many times we need it, and we saw the snip last week. Oh my god, I was so excited when I saw that on the ring.
Yeah, man. When they were talking to each other in Japanese, like I don't understand Japanese,
I
and
don't
there was no
care.
subtitles. But who cares, man? We all know what they were saying. We don't understand, but we know what they were saying. And
Yeah.
it's again, that's I'm looking forward to that feud 100%. And I love the way that they're letting them speak Japanese, like we mentioned a couple of weeks ago with Shinsuke Nakamura. His promos are now just they're off the hook, man. They're
Yeah.
off the hook good. He's in Japanese. He can tell his story properly without he speaks English perfectly, but
Yeah,
he
he
got the
does.
stumbles in his promos.
Yeah.
But in Japanese, nah, man. Like I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. This reminds me of the old Cactus Jack promos from ECW that Mick
Oh,
Foley, like the really scary shit. Even some of Raven's
yeah.
stuff, like Shinsuke is fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Nah, man, he's great. Shinsuke is great. I'm glad he's taking this and running with it, man. He's awesome. He does really, really well, and yeah, he's making the most of this opportunity. He's having fun. You can tell he's having a good time doing this as well, man. So, which is great. Good on him,
And
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think about Io and Asuka?
man. That's we've been asking for this for ages, right? That this needs to happen. This is going to be great, man. Two Japanese wrestlers. Uh, Rod and I love the Japanese strong style. They're gonna just beat the living hell out of each other. So it's gonna be great, man. Watching these two fight, I'm really looking forward to this when it happens.
And talking about great storylines, how about Ganta and Chad Gable, bro? What?
Mate, yes. Finally, fine. I have been a massive fan of the Alpha Academy for a long, long time. I love all that shit he does. The shoes, the little dance that he does sideways.
Thank
You
you.
know, yeah, thank you. Like, I love it, man. And the fact, and they got Maxine Dupree now, who I think just adds to that team,
Yeah.
takes them to another level. But Chad Gable is an absolute gun, man. Like on the mic, he's great, but in the ring, like his wrestling skills are second to none. The way he lifts Gunter and does those German suplexes and holds him up there,
Jeez.
like, and
Hmm.
today, it's same as with Ludwig Kaiser, he held him up there for a while. He was like backwards, and it's fucking. He's holding him up like he's an absolute freak, and like he's gonna get the strap. It won't happen. Might not happen soon, but he's gonna get it. Gunter has to drop it
Yeah.
eventually, and this is a great storyline.
I
This
think
is a
that's what they're
great,
going. That's what they're
yeah. They
going.
have
He's
to.
gonna drop it with Gable. I think that's what they're building the story to, and it's great that they're continuing. He's gonna drop it with Gable. Now Gunta is the longest reigning champion in history.
Got
He
the
passed
record,
all the
yeah.
records. So now he's they're building the story to give it to Gable. They're giving a couple losses to Gable, which was great because that just make the people to go behind it
Yeah.
even more. And then it's gonna get to a pay-per-view and he's gonna win and just that stadium's gonna explode, bro.
And having his family there and watching his poor little girl
Oh my
crying.
god, that
I
broke
mean,
my heart.
Yeah, that was awesome.
yeah, that broke
That
my
was
heart too.
awesome.
I mean, there's questions about the morality of like, sticking a camera in a little girl's face after she's crying because her dad just got beaten up by a strong Austrian guy. But
I
that's
know.
for another day. And they used that today. Chad Gable used it, which was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Nah, man, that storyline is going to be good. I'm a massive fan of Imperium as well. I think they're fantastic. All three of them, actually. I think they're a really, really good team. Really great team.
no, happy man. This is great stuff. Chad Gable, like you see, he's very underrated, Mars. I think he's a great ring professional, man. Great wrestler, great on the mic as well. He's funny. Can be serious when he wants to be as well. No, he's got it all. I think he's one of those underrated mid-carders that goes in, does the hard yards, man, but he is reliable. He's one of these reliable dudes that, they can always use and he's stepping up.
Yeah, they're great. So now we got Nakamura and Seth Rollins, great story for the heavyweight title. We got Asuka and Io Sky for the women's title. We got Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, and Rhea Ripley for the like WWE women's title. I don't know which one it is. It's exactly the same name, pretty much. And then we got Gunta with Kevu for the Intercontinental title. And we still things happening with the United States title, the what's called Rey Mysterio has, which is something's gonna have to do with the LWO and things in between. So every single title is having
and the tag titles. Don't forget with the Judgment Day as well.
And the tag titles are with the Judgment Day, and we got Señor Man in the Bank with the new maletin.
I love it. Yeah.
And then the Judgment Day is holding all the gold at the moment. We got the North American champion, which is Dirty Dome. Mike, it's just all the storylines at the moment are flying perfect. There's not a single flaws at the moment in WWE. It just makes you want to watch every single minute or every single day or every single program, and they're just doing absolutely great. And now today was the last day of an era. I don't think you guys going to talk about that. Today was the end of an era.
Because I think that's just been blown up. Like he's still there. He's still very much in control. Like
but it's no longer WWE. That's the thing. It's no longer. That's what we're talking about. It's no longer WWE. Now is finally Endeavor. So
TKO.
now Endeavor. TKO. Sorry, TKO. Yeah. Is the company runs the thing. So crazy stuff happened today. So and a lot of things. They're saying he's still there, but he's not gonna have majority, which is a good thing.
Which is great.
Which is great. That's what we needed. And the creative was 100% to Hunter, which I think we needed, So I think it's just totally at the moment, just actually buzzing. And I think the building up for a great WrestleMania, man. If they continue this build up, WrestleMania is going to be something unforgivable because there's WrestleMania 40, always, isn't it?
As always, man. And it's in Philadelphia, so you got a smart wrestling crowd as well.
Yeah. So is it by WrestleMania 40, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is an important milestone. So they have to have one WrestleMania for the ages. I think it has to be one WrestleMania is going to top up all the other WrestleManias.
That's what's been happening. That's what's been happening all along, man. Like, and WrestleMania 40 is going to be huge. I've got no doubt. I'd love to go, but it's too cold in Philly, mate. Oof. Forget about it. It's at a stadium. Forget about it.
Fuck. Yeah, that's
right.
Plus, it's in winter. It's just getting out of winter, eh?
It's just getting out of winter, but it's still freezing, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Philly's fucking cold, anyways. One more thing I was going to talk about which is it's a short thing, but how about the tag team between Shorty Blackheart and Charlotte? It's a short thing, but I just liked it. It was great to have them. It was fun. Crazy. It's a really weird tag team, but it was a good tag team, man, for what it lasts.
It's fun to watch. That's all I'll say about that. It's fun to watch. I like both of them. Obviously Charlotte Flair, and I like Shotzi. I like her whole character. I like her whole look. I do miss the long green. I really, really miss the long green hair, but we all know the really good reasons she had for cutting it. And I'm sure she'll grow it back. But I do miss the green hair. And headbanging without the hair isn't the same. Trust me, I know.
By experience.
Yeah, I was getting PTSD from when I cut my long hair a long, long time ago.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Headbanging with dreads is also not a good idea. You hit yourself a lot in the face.
Imagine. Yeah.
It gets heavy, man. And good luck to anyone that's next to you. He's going to get a smack in the face. Plus, on top of that, now I got these things on the
the wooden things.
And these are a metal in a rock. So good luck to be next to me if I headbang you, man. It's going to hurt. I'm letting you know right now. And man, that's it. I think we got a great stuff happening in WWE. I think now we're having WWE is getting fucking great, and AEW is going like, fuck, they need to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
They need to
pick it up.
I think that's
things is normal then. Things are normal.
Look, AEW went down after All Out. I think they fucked it up. I think after All Out, everything went downhill. I think that was the big fuck up they did. All In was great, but it didn't follow up with a great Dynamite and a great Collision. They fucked it up right there. I think they dropped the ball with both of them.
It was always going to be a difficult thing to have a pay-per-view one week after such a massive pay-per-view.
Yeah, but
I think that was
it's hard.
But even the weekly show,
I
know, like you got to pick it up. It's like having a shit Raw and a shit SmackDown after WrestleMania, which has happened.
Well, that's what people said about. That's what people said about this year's Raw, and I was there after the Raw after WrestleMania, and I fucking loved it. And I couldn't believe all the shit people were talking about. Oh, it was the worst Raw after WrestleMania in a long time. Bullshit. I loved it. That's where Brock turned on Cody. But
Yeah.
You have to have a strong follow-up show. You're right, Rod. After such a big pay-per-view, and for me, All In was their WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I still I only give All In 7 out of 10. I wasn't that convinced by it.
Yeah.
And then to follow up with a shitty Dynamite and then a not so good pay-per-view just 1 week after. Yeah, I think they didn't really think that one through.
No. And the fact they want to do NXT.
Mm-hmm. They've got to learn. Yeah, they've got to learn from this one. Hopefully take notes, right? And they need to spread them out. They need to spread them out.
Yeah, all in 2024, the return of CM Punk.
They're saying Survivor Series.
Oh, he won't come back to. Well, I'm not going to say he won't because it's wrestling. And it's wrestling, and weird things happen in wrestling. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you guys saw that footage going around of Seth Rollins talking about him.
Oh, get out! I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get away that cancer.
Absolutely, love it.
And he said,
it's quite clear that.
And the great thing, he said Phil. He didn't even say CM Punk. So that's completely towards CM Punk. And I don't think they're gonna risk it. They got a good thing happening with Seth Rollins.
Exactly.
I don't think you're gonna risk to piss him off if he hasn't had a good relationship.
Why would you?
Exactly.
I mean, if you could potentially bring him in for a short run, like a 4 weeks leading up to a pay-per-view, like bring him in late October, leading up to Survivor Series in November in Chicago, and then that's it. But I wouldn't do any more than that.
No, nothing more than that.
Retirement match. He's bringing back and say like, if you lose Survivor Series, you retire and you lose him. That's it. Happy retirement to CM Punk, and off he goes into the sunset.
Into the sunset.
Don't give him a microphone.
Yeah, just don't give him a microphone.
Exactly.
That's it. Script everything he said, but it doesn't work anyways. With CM Punk doesn't work.
No.
But that's it, guys. Fucking hell, we did it. I think under an hour.
Good, man. We're trimming the fat, mate. Keeping it short, sweet.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real.
And talking about that, let's go to the Renzo's Multiverse or WrestleVerse. There you go. Renzo WrestleVerse. What do you got for us this week?
I like that. Renzo's WrestleVerse. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, this one is a great match from 1996. So taking us back a while, I'm really winding back the clock. And I never thought this match happened, and it happened. And when I found it, oh man, I was so happy. Two of my favorite wrestlers. One is a bit controversial, but I think we're in a safe space. We can talk about this man. And it's a WCW Monday Nitro match from February 5th, 1996, and it's Randy Macho Man Savage versus Chris Benoit.
Ooh.
Man, what a match. What a match. I never thought this match happened. I couldn't even remember them even in the same era kind of thing happening. Chris Benoit was very fresh, as you'll see him, but wow, what a match. So if you have the opportunity, watch this match. Two of the greats. I'll say it here. Yes, Chris Benoit for what he did, terrible, but we can't take away that the guy knew how to wrestle, and this match definitely shows it. So Randy Savage versus Chris Benoit. Have a look. Amazing.
It's already on the playlist, so people just go YouTube, go to Renzo WrestleVerse playlist. It's right there. We already got it. Part 1 and 2 is in 2 parts here.
Yes,
so you can watch it in 2 parts. I think for Kiroso now we need a completely different tone and a completely different conversation to have about him, because I think the best way to talk about him is the way they did it in Dark Side of the Ring. which they did it in
Mhm.
2 parts.
Yeah, I
which-
haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't seen that one? They did it
Oh,
in 2
man.
parts, and it's great.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's the best way
Heavy.
to talk about Chris Benoit is doing it like that, talking in 2 parts, because it actually gives you the whole story, what happened, how it happens, and it really makes you understand what they go through. What they go through as a wrestlers emotionally, and so many things. And so many things is so also shady still about what happened that day. There's a lot of things uncertain. The biggest one is what happened in Wikipedia. I think that's why everyone's trying to figure out what the fuck. The fact that everyone that was updated even before anyone knows what happened, it was updated on Wikipedia about Chris Benoit. And I think that was the one that everyone was a bit, how do you know? And the visit he was having, and the people that was there before everything happened. So there's a lot of things happened during that time that we will never know. We're never gonna know the answers. But yeah, I think the best way to talk about Chris Benoit is in the 2 parts, like they did in Dark Side of the Ring. That's a really good justice to him and to what he did. And fuck, what a match! Chris Benoit, Randy Savage.
What a match.
What a match, man.
Speaking of Dark Side of the Ring, and if I can have a little recommendation of my own, I hope you don't mind. I'm
Yeah.
not stepping on toes, Renzo.
No, of course not.
Recommendation.
Yeah, part of the Voice of Violence universe. I happened to just be flicking channel surfing the other day, and I stumbled upon the Dark Side of the Ring episode about Marty Jannetty, which I mentioned to you guys on the chat. Man, watch it. That's so fucked up. That story's so fucked up in so many ways, and even if you just look at it on the surface, it's a fucked up story. But if you start to think about what those people say, or even what Marty Jannetty says, and what his so-called close friends say about him, and it's a whole different level of fucked up, and it's a really sad story. It's a really sad story. But watch it and draw your own conclusions. But I was left with like, damn, like two feelings, like, oh fuck, that poor bloke, and also fuck, wake up, man. Just conflicting feelings, and there's just he's just a walking paradox. Watch it; it's really good. As always, Dark Side of the Ring is really well produced, really informative, really researched. And they talk to the right people. They
100%.
really do.
And I love that it's narrated by Chris Jericho, man. I think he does a great job.
He does a great job, man.
Yeah.
He did pretty good. Also, on that, listen to what Rob Van Dam has to say about that part of the thing. It just came up 8 days ago. Rob Van Dam actually discussed it. It's on YouTube if you guys want to watch it.
About Marty Jannetty?
Yep.
Yeah, what did he say? Where is it on YouTube, is it?
It's on YouTube. Look, I'll do one straight away.
What did he say?
I just found it. I haven't watched it. I'm just saying if you guys want to have one more view of what people has to say about it. It's on a WhatsApp group, so you can actually see it. That's nice. A link right there, so you guys can see. But now, great recommendations twice from the Voice of Violence and Sin Brazo Renzo. And see, we get to the end of this week's episode, man. Far we smashed it. We did it quick. We're doing radio times. We're keeping it to under an hour for a radio show. Had to do sometimes, but well, every now and then we can do it as long as it's not pay-per-view. It's not a pay-per-view.
No, that pay-per-view.
Now we're gonna do it in 2 parts for that to do.
Yes.
Anything to say, guys, before we go? Oh, but sorry. By the way, Renzo, where everyone can find us and listen to us.
Yeah, of course. Stitcher, Not For Long on Spotify, on iVoox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeart Radio, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, Podbay, and Podbean. So wherever you are and what your favorite podcast listening app is, we're there.
That's it, man. Anything to say before we go?
No, guys, have a good week. Enjoy the wrestling and enjoy those World Cup qualifiers too in the football. I managed to go an hour without mentioning any single thing about that, so you can thank me later, guys.
It's all right.
Hey, and enjoy the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup as well, eh? That's going on at the same time.
Man.
So,
I think we're both going to get thumped in that, but it's just good to watch our countries play rugby, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, great, man. Yeah,
awesome World Cups. A lot of World Cups happening. So, and then becomes the Cricket World Cup. I don't know if you guys watch it. That's going to be fun too.
I love it. Love the cricket.
Same. Love the cricket. So you go Aussies. We got the World Cups. We got a lot of World Cups happening lately. Fucking, I'm watching the World Championship for weightlifting. It's happening at the moment. So it's a lot of happening at the moment with terms of championship. But like always, guys, enjoy wrestling. A lot is happening, like we said. It's a lot of great stories in WWE. Hopefully, AEW picks it up, and then everything else around to what is or wrestling. So, with Sin Brazo Rezo, the voice of Lions, mi nombre es Rodrigo, and this was Lucha HSP. We'll see you next week. Bye.